Hello YouTube, welcome to One Simple Combo, the series where I show you one simple combo for a deck. Today we are going to be covering Madolche's, and just to get into it, Madolche is a deck that has a couple of starters. And those combo starters are Mageline, Angeli, Petting Sasor, and even Hoot Cake if you're feeling a little bit desperate. But today we're going to be focusing on the one card combo starter line, which is Mageline. Now do keep in mind that positioning is very important when it comes to this combo, and I will mention it several times in the video, but be sure to position left to right throughout the entire time, as I do in the video, because you want your end board to have a very specific positioning for your board to be fully protected. Anyways, I'm going to quit battling and I'm going to get right into the combo line. Now for this version of the combo, this is a going first line, and the only card you require in your hand is the one copy of Mageline. So we're going to go ahead and ignore every other card in our hand, pretending Mageline is the only one in it. Starting off here, we're going to normal summon the Mageline onto the field. Mageline is going to be able to search out a Madolche monster, and we're gonna grab a copy of Petting Sasor. Now Petting Sasor, because there are no monsters in our graveyard, and again we tailor our deck's hand trap specifically so we don't end up having monsters in our graveyard, we're able to special summon Petting Sasor onto the field, summoning her in defense just to be safe. Once Petting Sasor is on the field, we're going to be able to special summon a monster from our deck, and we're going to go ahead and grab our one copy of Pudding Cess. Now, this part is really easy to remember, since Pudding Cess is the only monster that will become a level 4 when you summon it. Since Petting Sasor will reduce the level by 1, Pudding Cess is the only level 5 in the deck, so this part isn't too hard to remember. Now, here's where we start to XZ summon. We're going to overlay into our copy of Glass Souffle using the Pudding Cess and the Petting Sasor, placing her on the second spot on the field, and this is where positioning starts to become really important. We're gonna go ahead and put all of our cards in a line from left to right, because positioning is going to be very critical to the end board of this deck. Here, we're going to go and activate the effect of Glass Souffle on the field, specifically removing the Petting Sasor this time, because we will be banishing this down the line. We will be targeting the Mageline with the effect of the Glass Souffle to protect, just because Glass Souffle won't be sticking around the field very long. Now, here's the first big mistake that people often make with this deck. Go ahead and click no to activating the next effect of Glass Souffle here, even though it could be really tempting to just click yes on every effect that shows up on the field. Now we're able to summon a copy of Alamode because she can be overlaid over a copy of Glass Souffle, bringing the Alamode onto the field, again keeping that left to right positioning that we've been using since earlier. Now, since we opted to click no on Glass Souffle's effect, we still have a Madolche monster we can use in the graveyard. So here, we're gonna use the effect of Pudding Cess in order to shuffle back that Petting Sasor into the deck, which is gonna proc Alamode's second effect, which we're gonna click yes to, in order to detach the Glass Souffle. Specifically detaching Glass Souffle because we will be banishing this card down the line. Now at this point we're able to special summon ourselves a copy of Angeli from the deck. Be certain to summon the Angeli here in attack position, because anything summoned off of Alamode is either summoned in face up attack position or in face down defense position, and if a card is face down you're not able to use it. So then we're going to activate the effect of Angeli, removing her from the field in order to bring ourselves out a copy of Hoot Cake. Now this copy of Hoot Cake is important to summon in defense position because this card cannot be destroyed by battle. Here we get to activate the Hoot Cake effect, banishing that copy of Glass Souffle that I mentioned earlier, in order to special summon our first copy of Gelato, again maintaining this order of from left to right on our summons. Using this effect of Gelato, we're going to grab our first copy of Chateau. Now, as soon as we get it, we're going to activate this copy of Chateau, which is going to shuffle back the last Madolche monster in our graveyard. And because we were able to successfully shuffle back a Madolche monster, Alamode can once again activate her effect, finally detaching that last material in order to grab a second copy of Gelato, since this effect is not a once per turn, again summoning him in attack position since it's either face up attack position or face down. Here we're gonna search the card again and grab ourselves a copy of Salon, Again, ignoring my hand, even though I already had one, this entire combo is just off of the one Mageline. And we'll be adding the copy of Salon to hand. Now here finally, we're gonna overlay into Glass Souffle using that Mageline from earlier and the first copy of Gelato that we summoned, summoning Glass Souffle in defense position since we are going first all the way on the far left. And this is where positioning becomes absolutely critical in the deck, as we'll see in a few moments. Now on this step, it's very important to not immediately go into your link. You want to activate the effect of Salon right now before you do anything else, and this is another one of those steps that's really easy to miss. Now here we're finally going to link off into Sistart, and we want Sistart's arrows to point to the monsters on the field, which is why the positioning mattered so much in this deck, because we always want Sistart pointing towards our Madolche monsters. Here we are going to summon the Sistart using that copy of Alamode, which no longer has material, and our copy of Gelato to the far right, and summoning Sistart so she points to both our monsters on the field. Now, since the Glass Souffle saw monsters leave the field and go into the graveyard, we can activate her effect. And here we're going to select the copy of Pudding Cess and Gelato. But because of the effect of Chateau, instead of sending them back into the deck, we are able to add them back to hand. Granted, here we only want to add the copy of Pudding Cess to the hand. We will be clicking no the second time to send that Gelato back into the deck where he's more valuable. Now, Chateau's effect is going to go off on the field, allowing us to set a spell or trap card from the deck face down on the field, and we're going to choose ourselves our copy of Promenade, which is going to give us access to a very strong negate during our opponent's turn. And that is where the first combo ends. Quickly, I'm going to give a breakdown of what this board actually does and why this board, which looks kind of insignificant, is actually so extremely powerful. First off, we have our copy of Sistart, which, since she is pointing to Madolche monsters, our spells and traps can't be destroyed by our opponent's card effects. Also, if our opponent just attempts to crash over this card first, she can protect herself by shuffling back the monsters in our graveyard. Then we have the one copy of Glass Souffle. Glass Souffle has a quick effect, which can select another monster on the field to be protected from monster effects. This comes really in handy when we consider that the Hoot Cake on field is unable to be destroyed by battles, and if we wait for our opponent to commit some sort of effect, we're able to make a Hoot Cake that cannot be destroyed by a monster effect, and it can also not be destroyed by battle, creating kind of an impenetrable wall and a final line of defense if things get desperate. Even after all that, we have the copy of Promenade on the field, meaning that if our opponent has some sort of powerful out, like evenly matched, we do have the Promenade to negate that effect and once again clean up our graveyard. After all that, we still have Salon and Chateau on the field set up for when we decide to combo off next turn with one of the many other combos that this deck can do, especially its going second OTK combos. But that's for another video. Thank you for watching my first episode of One Simple Combo for episode 1 of Madolche. I will be sure to link down in the description the continuation combos for the Madolche series, and I'll have the playlist linked above when I eventually get more episodes of this series out for a bunch of other decks. Thank you for watching anyways. This has been Rojas. Hopefully you enjoyed the new series, and I'll catch you guys next time on episode 2.